We're at the end of 2024, and I want to share with you guys my passion for this game. And it comes from the history behind this and the things that we learned. So I'm going to share with you some of my favorite finds and sales from this year. Keep in mind, my favorite sales are not necessarily the most expensive, but they're the ones I enjoy the most. And the first one I'm going to share with you is going to have a massive surprise that I don't think anybody watching this channel knows about. The first one I want to share with you is this Spencer Dinwiddie game-worn Dallas Mavericks jersey from 21-22. This thing sold for $450. How cool is this? Here's what you don't know. I bought his girlfriend's storage locker. And they have 2 kids together. I mean, they've been together, I think, like 10 years. What you don't know is that there were 6 more jerseys in this locker. The reason that none of you know it is since my videos on this channel are mostly tutorials, my storage locker videos aren't really going out to the right audience. But I get questioned all the time, like, how do we find these things? Melody and I feel like we're pretty good at this. We buy a lot of storage lockers, and we do a lot of private pics of abandoned places 100% with permission. We don't ever go anywhere without permission. So here's the big announcement. You don't have to wait around to the end of the video. Launching January 1st, 2025, I will be putting out ChaChingKing picking, and I'm going to take you with me to the storage lockers, to the private pics, and you get to go inside when we discover it. This video will be one of the first ones on there. I'm editing it now because the locker was insane. So this goes down as one of my favorite sales of the year. The other 6 jerseys are going to a company that will authenticate it and sell them for me. So I really look forward to learning about that process. I'll probably share that process on this channel. All right, let's keep going. I did show this storage locker on on this channel, and I was so shocked when we bought a storage vault. It's like sealed up. We didn't even know what was inside it, and there were lots of brand new Tumi bags, and this one sold for $250. What's exciting about it, and the reason I haven't done the second locker from this guy, which we also bought, is because we discovered he has a 3rd and a 4th locker coming up. And I'm afraid if I share the video now, everybody will know how to find the lockers, and you guys will outbid me if you could, because I'm going to go ham on this one on the next one, because these have been incredible. All right, let's keep going. All right, this right here came out of the Dinwiddie locker. This was a game-used basketball, and this is super cool. They've got a little serial number down here that shows that can be traced back to the game, and I got $175 for it. For me, that's the story. All of this Dinwiddie stuff. And let me tell you what I learned about him and his girlfriend as a couple. When you go through a storage locker, you learn a lot about the people that had the storage locker. And this was a 10 by 20 or 10 by 25 locker. So there was a lot of information in there, and including his like workout schedule and lots of personal documents. And let me tell you what I learned about them is I think they're decent people. And I'm not an athlete. I was never an athlete. I would run if the other kids chased me, but that was it. If I worked as hard at what I do as this guy does at basketball, I would be a star. It takes so much more. After reading his stuff, and hers too, like what a crazy good mom for her to have to keep up with all the stuff she has to keep up with, and still be a really good mom. I would never share all of the stuff that we went through. Just really good people. And I just don't think this locker was that big a deal to them. There wasn't, other than some game stuff and some exciting stuff for me, probably not exciting to them on the same level. But super interesting for me to peek into the lives of people that honestly seem like really decent people. They just seem like decent people. So I don't know that I've watched a lot of basketball games, but I'm going to be watching the Mavericks and rooting for Dinwiddie because he's a good guy. Or appears to be from the stuff I had. All right, also out of the Dinwiddie locker is this Microsoft Go. This wasn't even opened. It was it's a Microsoft Surface. I think it's like kind of like a tablet, but there was also a keyboard that went with it. So this sold for $275. Great sale. Great sale. All right, let's keep going. This is super cool. This was out of a private pick. So I am friends with a couple in the Dallas area. They buy houses and flip them. And they used to throw everything away because if you've ever worked with housing remodeling or housing sales, you got to get rid of that stuff quick. And it's not in their best interest to hang on to things for a long time. So they got to get this stuff moving. But they let me go in. And I know it's got to be more of a hassle for them than it is a benefit for them. But they pretty much let me go in. They set me up with a key. I go in. I take anything I want because it's all going in the trash. And then they just trust me to pay them a fair price. And I really do try to because it's... How cool is this? Anyway, this was on a floor in a room. This place was bad. If you go back and find the video when I made this, the people, whoever had lived there was running an aviary. And it was bad. It was bad. But I got all of these, and these sold for about $450, $428. Super cool find. Sideshow figures, not something I knew anything about, but you could see the quality when I was there. Okay, this may be the coolest thing, like just as far as the story goes. And there's another one of these. So this is a thermal imaging monocular, like a video camera that works on thermal imaging. And I got $325 for it. And I invested exactly negative $50 in this. This was sent to me for me to review, and they paid me to review it. This was like childhood spy visions coming to life. And it was everything advertised. I absolutely love it. My only regret is, should I have sold it? Because, like, you know, what if my neighbors decide to invade and I can't spot them at night? This thing was super cool. Super, super cool. All right. This was also from a private pick. The guy who led our Bible study back in the mid-90s is a pastor in North Carolina. And he unexpectedly inherited a place and asked me to come up there and help. And I was happy to do it. And I was able to buy some things. One of them was this fishing lure. This is from the Moonlight Bay Company. And you can tell Moonlight Bay lures have a long, kind of a graduated sloped nose on them. Super cool. Pretty easy to spot once you've held one. This one sold for $250. And I have several things from that pick. Oh, here's the other Teslon. This was the smaller version. This one sold for... Let me see, which one is this? This is the TTS 260. I might have them confused. The other one I think was the monocular that took pictures. This is the video camera one. I'm not even sure. It sold for $299. Same deal. I didn't have to pay for it at all. All right. From the private pick that I went to North Carolina for. Let's see. Did I get another offer? Yeah. This is from the same private pick in North Carolina. The man who had owned the estate was, he was a photographer, but he had worked a little bit in Hollywood. He had done a lot of things, long-term fisherman. His dad was president of the Outboard Marine Corporation, OMC, which is Johnson Motors and Evinrude Motors. And this was a solid sterling silver belt buckle that sold for $275. Super cool. Super cool. I love this kind of stuff. Like, let me show you the detail on this thing. How cool is that? You will see this exact same belt buckle, but never in silver. I'm sure it's because he was president of OMC that he got that one. All right, this is a Poshmark sale, and this came out of the locker, the storage vault, the moving vault, that I just cannot believe we were blessed enough to get. A Tumi bag, it sold for $350 on Poshmark, and absolutely stunning piece. All of the stuff that we got out of that locker was brand new. All of the stuff that we got out of the second locker was brand new. We have donated a mountain of stuff out of those two lockers and just cherry picked the best of the stuff for us. I will show the second locker after I get the third and fourth locker, as long as they come up. So that sale was on Poshmark. This is a cool one. These are a pair of shoes by a Japanese company called Spingle Move. Now, we bought these in an auction. One of the things that I always recommend people check out are business liquidations. This isn't like liquidations.com. These are actual court-ordered business liquidations. And there was a company in Dallas that went out of business, and they had upper-end men's clothes. And the Spingle Move, these are all handmade. So this pair of shoes sold for $200. Let me see here. This pair of shoes sold for $225. I got about 35 pairs for the Spingle Move ones. I think I paid $34 or $37 for them maybe. And then the collaboration, which were Spingle Move shoes that they made for this men's clothing store, I paid like $7 a pair, and they've been selling for $100 to $105. But I have probably given away at least half of them to either people that just outright needed them or friends and family and places like that. So we'll end up donating a massive quantity of these. Still super cool. All right, let's keep going. Oh, okay. So this is a private pick. And first of all, it's a very cool penny. It was from 1863 in the back, had been re-stamped with a saloon, and you see that it's graded? That's how I found it. I didn't get this graded. It was already graded. This was the scariest private pick I have ever been on. I don't even think I ended up with a video out of it. It's the same couple. They let me go up there and pick this place. So I go in, and I'm putting on my GoPro, and I'm like, I'm going to get great footage this time, because I move so fast, it's hard for me to get good footage, but I had my camera set up, and when I turn around, there is a man standing there with a gigantic Bowie knife, an old guy. And he said, "Are you the guy who's coming to take things out of the house today?" And me being super smart and thinking fast, I was like, yes. It was the former homeowner who came in through the garage, and he just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything, including the knife. He said, "Do you want to see this?" And I was like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And he spent an hour walking me through the house, showing me the things that he thought were valuable. But anyway, you guys didn't sign up for a story. I found this penny in there, and because these people that let me in, kind of my own deal with myself is if I find guns or gold or money, they don't really need my help selling that. So I pretty much would just turn that stuff over to them. They wouldn't have a way to sell this. So what I did is I auctioned this, but I let them know that I was auctioning it, and I gave all the money to them, and then I even paid the fees just because they don't really care how eBay works. But it was fun, I think, for them to watch it. A great way for me to give back a little bit for them letting me in these places. So super cool, scariest pick I've ever been on, and sold for $260. This, just a garage sale find. I got two pieces from this one. This is why it pays to tell people what you do. This was just a garage sale, and there were the kids. The kids were probably in their either late 20s, early 30s. This was the grandfather, and he had his own little section set up. And he pretty much called me over. He said, hey, let me tell you about this stuff. And so he proceeds to let me know, you got to have a license to run this. And he wanted a bunch of money. I actually paid up for this. And I don't, but I want to say I paid $200 just on his word that they would be worth more. And he said, no, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money. But I had told him, because his price was kind of non-negotiable, and he was in this kind of price range, this $300 to $400 price range for this thing. And I told him, I said, I'm a reseller on eBay, and if this is worth $350 and I pay $350, I'm going to lose money. He goes, oh, if you're a reseller, let's make you a better deal. And he brought it down, and I got 2 pieces for this. But a great sale, and I got to talk to it. I didn't spend 30 minutes talking to him. I spent 30 minutes listening. And absolutely worth it when you get a chance to hear somebody else's story. So that was fun. That was a fun sale, and I made money on it. I think this is the other piece I got from him. Yeah. The ham radio stuff. Got them sold. They sold super fast. And evidently this community, they were super easy to work with. No lowball offers and nothing. It just worked nice and smooth. That one sold for $280. So met a nice guy, and probably doubled my money when it was all said and done. Maybe not quite that much, but I made good money. But it was just a great day. Okay, here's another one. A good friend of mine, and we met because I'm a reseller. It's a long story. His name is Darwin, and I've mentioned him in other videos because he has put me on to some of the best finds that I will ever have. Plus, he's unbelievably kind and just is just such a good man. When his mom passed away and he was cleaning out her closet, he sent me a text and said, would you be interested in this? And I was like, absolutely. And of course he knows I'm a reseller. And I picked it because I know Coogi and the cardigans are... So this sold, I think it was listed one day, $200. Darwin didn't want my money, but I gave him $50, which is still, that's just stupid cheap for me. 4 times my money in one day. And I had to go over there and just leave it on his counter. But super good guy. Love it that it belonged to his mom. Love it that he's perfectly happy with me selling it. And love it that I was able to give him something back. So, of course, Coogi is always great. If you guys see it, you need to pick it up. Okay. This isn't my favorite find of the year, but it is so close. It is so close. Oh, this is just insane. This is a deep sea... I can't even say it. This is a deep sea diving helmet. And if you'll notice my title, homemade, deep sea, dangerous, unusable. And in my description, I wonder if I still can access the description. Probably not. Nah, it won't let me. Man, I think I put in the description like 15 times, you can't use this. You have a death wish if you use this. So the guy made this, the dome part right here. When I flip the hat diving helmet over and you look inside of it, written across it in reverse letters, I could see what he used for a form, and it said Tupperware. And I'm like, I don't know about you, but if I ever go deep sea diving, it isn't going to say Tupperware on it. I actually contacted a company, I think it's called Desco, that makes this style of helmet. And they thought that this was an old Navy one, U.S. Navy faceplate of theirs. And the guy that runs the company, he said it's not even surprising to him. He said deep sea divers are made different. And a helmet like this new would be 20 grand or more. And he said they will make their own helmet and go for it. So this came out of that same place in North Carolina. Just crazy cool. Like, just the coolest thing ever. I almost wanted to keep it, except, it's worth $400 and I'm going to use it as a decoration. But, God, it's so cool. Let's move on. Okay, this is another one from North Carolina, and this was in the tackle box with the lures. The old jitterbugs. Now, I don't think you can tell in this picture. This thing was like 4.5, 5 inches long. It's a massive wooden lure. And if you see a jitterbug that's obviously solid wood with the jitterbug looks like it was just spray painted on the top, because it was, and it's huge. Like, I mean, just too big. Some of those are worth a lot of money. So this one sold for $350. Okay, I guess I should have saved this to last, but I'm not going to. This is why I love what we do. The only thing I think I enjoy more than things like this are those times when you can reconnect other people with their loved ones or their history, you know, because we get a chance to do that, and that's incredible. But the history part of it for me, check this out. Okay, so I told you I went to North Carolina, and one of the things that happened when this guy passed away, no kids, no nieces, no nephews, no brothers, no sisters. But there was a bunch of old family photos. And I thought, well, maybe if I back up a couple of generations, I can find some family, somebody, because otherwise they're going to go in the trash. Going through the family photos, I find this thing. For those of you that don't know, this is called a football program. And it used to be when you would go to either a high school game, or this was from a professional game, you pay whatever. What was this one? This one was 15 cents, and you got basically a magazine about the game. And I was super happy to find this. Now, this had a big tear running down the front of it. That isn't what was cool. I was looking at this, and this football program was the Chicago Bears versus the Chicago Cardinals, which I didn't know the Chicago Cardinals had ever been in Chicago. Or even that, if that's the same one that went to Arizona and Phoenix. But it was from December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor Day. That's what this was. Because you remember, that was early in the morning, and that game was played before anything bad. Before the world fell apart, this game was played. So I literally got a chance to see and touch history with this. I sold it for $300. I think it would have been worth $5 or $6 in good condition. There was another game played that day, and there's a lot of those programs out there. I only saw one other of this one that had ever sold. And just one of my favorite finds of my entire life, because it was so unexpected, so historical. And I got a chance to touch it, own it for a brief period of time, and then get it to somebody. Oh, I just loved it. I love what we do. Okay. This is insane. All right, so while I'm in North Carolina, my friend says, a friend of his that runs a coffee shop, I think his daughter works there. He's like, she has some Christmas ornaments. Do you want to go look at them? I'm like, yeah, let's go. We'll go get a donut or something. And we get down there, and her husband has been buying antiques. They like this stuff. And she brings out 21 years worth of annual Swarovski crystal holiday ornaments. And I start going through them, and some of them are broken. Probably half of them have a little chip or a little crack. And, you know, I got a pretty good idea what they're worth. You know, most of them are $50 to $100 to $150. And so I asked her how much she's wanting. She goes, oh, I want you to make an offer. And I was like, and I already know she's going to be way over my price. She's going to be way over my price. And I'm like, well, I could probably do maybe $20 a piece, you know, I mean, like $400. And she goes, oh, no. And I was like, okay, she's going to hit me back at 100, and I'm not going to be able to do it. She was like, I want $100. She goes, I'll do $5 a piece. And I was like, I can't do that. I already know I'm going to make out like a bandit at $20 a piece. I'm going to come out fine. And I'm not joking. We had to go round and round and round. And we finally settled on, she took $200. So I get home and I start looking these up, and the 93 one This thing sells for $400. $400. And check this out. The other one, the broken one from 91, the first year, this one right here, I mean, it's broken. This piece here is broken off. This one sells for $600. Unbroken, it's a $2,500 ornament. Turns out the oldest ones are worth bank. And so, you know, I mean, they sell quick. And I call Michael back and I said, look, man, I'm going to send you, I'm going to send some more money up there. And I think I sent her another 200. I was like, that at least would be what I originally offered. So I went ahead and just Venmo'd it to Michael. And then I paid him more too, because of the magazine was, the football program was worth a lot. And, a couple of the lures were worth way more than what I was expecting. So I sent him, I think, another 600. And she wouldn't take it. She would not take it. She goes, I want that guy to feel like he got a great deal. She knew I was selling it. She knew what I was doing. And I didn't hide how much I was getting for him. I'm just telling y'all, I tell everybody what I do. And I try to make it right. But on this one, I ended up paying $200. And I sold 20 of these. Most of them were worth what I thought. Most of them went in that $100 range. But that's stupid money for a $200 investment, especially when the first one, the broken one, sold for $600. Like, gosh, I just love what we do. And I have met so many incredible people doing this. I don't know what's coming up next. I don't know how I'm going to top any of this. Oh, same place, OMC. This is from North Carolina. I threw this one in here because it's a cool item. This would bolt on top of your license plate. That's what the bolts here are on the bottom. And it was just a license plate topper. And it sold for almost $300. I put it in here because y'all need to be aware that stuff is out there. If you come across license plate toppers, now this one was new, hadn't been used, $297. They are worth looking up. All right, this is going to be the last one. Okay. I love this though. So these were in the private pick where there was the aviary, and this place was deadly. I think in my video, I realized probably halfway through this thing, massive mistake for me not to wear a mask in this place. But anyway, these were on the floor in one of the rooms, just mashed into the carpet. And I knew right away these were not toys. These were all lead. And if you're familiar with these are identification models. So they're tiny. I don't remember the scale. There's a specific scale for these. And so in the Navy, all the way back to World War II, you would identify ships based on the shape. So when you set this down and you get eye level with it, you can see the shape of the ship. And so you're able to identify, at this time, it was a lot of the Japanese ships. And so I had 12 of them, and in a little bit better condition, and they came with a box. And the thing is, there was probably more of them there that this place was bad, y'all. It was bad. But I got $250. I easily think you could quadruple that if I had spent time to get the rest of them. But still, I learned a ton from going over these and seeing exactly what they were. These are not toys. These weren't made to be toys. These were for identifying danger. So incredible learning opportunity. Whew. I don't have a clue how long this video is going to be. I'm going to chop out some of it. I'm not going to edit it to death. But I love what we do. I hope you guys do too. What I would like you to do, man, I like this so much. If you would tag me in the comments for something you found, I would love to either see it on Instagram or see it on YouTube, because, what we do goes way beyond making a few bucks. I mean, if you're like me, I love this at its core, and I would love for you to share with me some of your best finds. That's it for this video. I appreciate you watching. I can't wait for 2025, and let's see what we can find. I'll see you next year.